I have forgiven you a long time ago. You're perfectly fine. Don't worry about that. Hello to all out in the world of YouTube and out in the internet world. We're going to go back to our part 4 of God Bless America. God bless America. Huh? They give us Trump. Hey, love Trump's hate. Hey, Hillary got Trump. Just keep on going with it. There's a whole lot of puns you can just keep throwing at this, right? But we're going to be talking about the image. And tonight's discussion is going to be the formation of the image. The formation of the image. So let's go ahead and get our Bibles out. We're going to touch now on Revelation chapter 13, verse 11 through 17. And then I want someone else to get Revelation in the same chapter, but I want someone else to read verses 1 through 10. After we read 11 through 17. Revelation 13, 11 through 17. And we're also going to read the same chapter, Revelation 13, 1 through 10. Good night, Melissa. Yeah, but 11 through 13 first.
I'll read it. And I beheld another beast coming out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake like a dragon. And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men.
Yeah.
Oh, you said there's nothing. Okay.
No, 11 through 17.
Okay, and he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had been wounded by a sword, and did live. And he did have power, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many would worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand, or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that hath a mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name.
Very good. So now let's read verses 1 through 10. Somebody go ahead and take 1 through 10. Same chapter, 1 through 10. 13. Revelation 13. It's right here. What she read is right here on the screen. And she read is right here on the screen. But we're going to go from 1 through 10 now. Same chapter, 1 through 10.
You want to read it?
I can read it. Yeah, that's fine.
And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw the beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, and his seat, and great authority. And I saw one of the heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast. And they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies. And power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth in the blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them. And power was given over him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world.
All right. A lot of nuggets in here. Tonight we're going to touch on both. The reason why I went from 11 to 17 first is because right now we're making a transition in America. We're going backwards. We're going backwards. There was a transition that 1 through 10 had happened, and we had started that with the pilgrims coming into America. Now we're going backwards. 11 through 17 is now going back to 1 to 10. Y'all get that? Okay. I know.
I was wondering why you did that. So 11 needs to go back to the beginning.
Right, because there's lots of nuggets there. You saw the number of 42 months, right? Anybody remember what 42 months is?
1260 days.
1260 days is 42 months, or 3.5 years, right? That also makes up 42 months, right? So a time and times and a half of times is 3.5 years, right? So we know that there's something that happened between that 3.5 years, 1,260 days, and if we do the day for a year prophecy, which is taken in Ezekiel chapter 4, right? Then we'll see that a day for a year, 1 day to God is what? A year to man. So basically, 1,260 days is how much years? 1,260 years. So there's a reason why we're going backwards. Because here it says that, and he doeth great wonders so that he maketh fire come down from the earth in the sight of men. And he deceives them that all dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by the sword and did live. So if you go back now to Revelation chapter 13, the same chapter, right? And I believe it's chapter 5, where he was wounded by the... Verse 5, sorry. Verse 5. Verse 3, where he was wounded by the sword, right?
Yeah.
And he was wounded by what? One of his heads was what? Wound, the deadly wound, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you can see now that the image to the beast the earth said that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. So the beast got the sword. They got the deadly wound. The image now, the image is the complete look-alike of that beast who got wounded by the sword. Okay.
He wasn't wounded in his head, he was wounded on the side.
Well, one of the heads. If you read verse 3 again.
No, I thought you were saying the comparison.
Oh, the comparison, right.
The actual wound, the representation of the wound, right?
No.
Oh, sorry.
No.
Okay.
No, the wound is the head. The head is a king.
No,
right?
I was thinking the wound of the foot. Back in.
Oh, when he actually physically got wounded?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yes, but he died.
Right.
They killed him.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I was thinking more of the literal.
Yes, he physically died. They killed him. Right? They killed him in France. Okay? Now, I'm gonna have to explain because most of them are more advanced. I'm throwing things out there. You're like, what's that? So Revelation chapter 13, as I said to your word, a beast, right, is a what? A nation or a government. In other words, let's call it a government. Okay? The first beast in Revelation chapter 10, Revelation chapter 13, verse 1, that John saw came up out of the what? The sea, right? Sea means what? People, nations. Thank you very much, Melissa. Okay? So this government, this kingdom was raised up out of people, which also means that it was populated. It was highly populated. Okay? The dragon gave him his power and his seat. Who's the dragon? The devil. Very good. So he gets his power from whom? Satan. The beast. The first beast. The first beast gets his power from Satan. All right? And through that power, he ruled for 42 months. For 1,260 years, he was at his zenith. Okay? Then he also went after the saints of God. Remember that time he was also what? Persecuting how many Christians they persecuted during that time? It was called the Dark Ages, right? Okay. Then he got wounded by a sword. The head got wounded, right? One of the heads got wounded, but he did live. But what he says, he did live was that there was two sides to this power. There was civil and there was religious, right? When people think of the Pope, what do they think most of him as?
Religious.
Religious power, but they don't know that he's also a what?
Civil.
A civil power. But when in 1798, when the head got chopped, he lost his what? Civil power, but they kept their religious power. That's what it means that he did live. Okay? He did live. All right? And then all the world what? Wandered after the beast, after the what was healed? The wound. Okay. So, is the wound completely healed yet? Ah, good head nod. No, it's not completely healed yet, but he is what? He's working on doing what? Healing the wounds. And he's doing so by using whom?
Media.
Not media, but media and America, but he's using media through America, right? Okay. All right, very good. Now, who are we talking about? We're talking about the papacy, Roman Catholic Church. Okay? So now we come back to Revelation chapter 11, verse 13, verse 11 through 17, and now there's another beast that John saw. But this time it came out of the earth. Earth meaning that it was desolate. There was not much people. It was empty. Okay? And he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Last couple lessons we learned the two horns mean what? What? No. Religious and civil liberties. Doesn't that draw a vast comparison to the first beast? Come on now, scholars. Doesn't the two horns that represents what? Religious liberty and civil liberty draws a vast contrast to the first beast that has the civil power and the religious power.
Yes. Yes.
Okay? So you see one that has religious power, civil power, the other one has civil liberty and religious liberty. Okay? Remember, they're not of the same. The first beast and the second beast. One has religious power and civil power. The earth-like beast had two horns that represented civil liberty and religious liberty.
So that's America, because we represent
Civil liberty and religious liberty. Home of the what? Land of the free and home of the what? All right. Okay. And now, this earth beast will speak like a what? A dragon. Eventually, the lamb-like horns are going to go, done with the lamb-like horns. Now I'm going to speak like a what? A dragon. When he speaks like a dragon, what does that mean?
religious and civil liberties.
Right? But I'm looking for the word speak. How does a government speak?
The people, for the people.
Almost.
Law.
Laws. Legislation and what? Judicial.
Branches.
The branches. And how many do we have?
3.
3. How many does Rome have?
1.
1.
They got one dude. They got
Pontiff,
They
right?
got that dude.
Huh? No separation of power in Rome. Because it's a what? Monarch. Mono, meaning one. So, with that being said, that America has 3 branches. So it can speak through what? All 3 of its what? Branches. So when he speaks as a dragon, he's speaking through its branches of power. Executive, judicial, legislative. Okay? It sound like the 3 frogs that come out of the mouth? I know. All right. So he spake as a dragon. And he exercises all the power of the first beast. So is he now going back to the first beast that came before it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So he exercises all the power of the first beast before him. And this earth beast will cause the earth and them that dwell on the earth to worship the first beast. So how in the world are we going to get everybody on this one planet, over 7 billion people, to worship the Pope?
Having fun here.
Laws, but
He's coming to talk to the heads of the state.
heads of the state, okay.
To persuade them.
Okay. Okay, world order. All right, those are all good answers. All good answers. Legislation, very good. All good answers. We're going to dig a little deeper down the grave. There's, you got to see how far this rabbit hole goes. Okay? I'm going to skip down to verse 11, 12, 13, 14. And he deceived them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles, which he had the power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image. Now, remember Daniel chapter 2? There was a dream that Nebuchadnezzar had. Nebuchadnezzar could not remember the dream, nor he could interpret that dream. So Daniel, by the power of God, told him his dream and then interpreted it, right? But what was the most craziest thing that Nebuchadnezzar did after he heard about his dream? He made a what? An image to the dream.
Instead of breaking it up,
You made it in solid gold, bro.
Solid gold of him whom? Himself. Huh?
I was saying you're trying to change the outcome
Of the dream. Ah, very good. But what else did he do that was so crazy?
made everybody think.
Worship to this image. Ah, who was behind the image? Nebuchadnezzar. Very good. So, what does Nebuchadnezzar represent? Who does Nebuchadnezzar represent in Rome? The papacy. Ah, very good.
Sorry.
Nebuchadnezzar represents Rome.
No, I heard that.
Nebuchadnezzar represents Rome. The image represents whom?
That's a trick question.
Wait, but how you
Oh,
see?
never.
How you
Very
represent wrong?
Huh?
How you see that?
So look at this. Look at this here. Verse 14. And he deceived them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had made, which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast. The beast is whom? Who's the beast that we're making an image to? Rome. We're making an image to Rome, right? The image is whom? Protestant America. Flip that. We went back to the story of Nebuchadnezzar and Daniel. Nebuchadnezzar had the dream, right? Daniel told him his dream and interpreted it for him. But Nebuchadnezzar went ahead and made an image, okay? Now, when he asked the people to come in to, what was the name of that town? The city? Shinar? Come to the town, to the city of Shinar, and you're going to do what when you hear the music? You're going to bow down to what? The image, not to him. Who's the king? He is. But they're going to bow down to the king. They're going to bow down to the image. Okay? So that's the same thing that is the exact replica of what Rome and America is doing. So tonight, we're going to dig a little deeper.
Okay, so when you see the image, what was the image that
Nebuchadnezzar made? Remember, he made a statue. He made the statue that Daniel had showed him in the dream. But instead of him making it in the way that Daniel had showed it to him, head of gold, body of silver, brass, the thighs of brass, and legs of iron, and iron in clay in the feet, iron mixed with clay and iron in the feet. What he did, he made the whole statue gold. Because his empire was an empire of gold. So now he tells the people, after he made the statue, that you need to bow down and worship the statue or the image.
But what was the shape of?
Not himself, the same shape that Daniel had given him in the dream. Okay, this is in Daniel chapter 2. Daniel chapter 3, sorry. No, Daniel chapter 4 is Nebuchadnezzar's no, that's his
No, you're talking about the dream. I'm just reading.
No, Daniel chapter 2 was the dream. Yes. Yes. There was chapter 4 was the other dream where he had a dream of the beasts in the field. Right? And he didn't understand it. Daniel gave him the dream again, and this time he said the dream is about you yourself. And if you're gonna say some things, and the next thing you know, you're gonna be the beast in the field. That was you. The tree stump that was cut. That's you. That's that dream. But that's a different dream. So Daniel 2. And then Daniel chapter 3, he had everybody do what? Bow down to the statue. Okay? So the statue, the image, is what we're going to be talking about. How is everyone going to worship the first beast? How is the image going to, as a matter of fact, how is the image going to, as the Bible says, the earth beast is going to force everyone to worship the first beast, the water beast. Okay, does everybody understand that? Okay, the first beast, the second beast, which is the earth beast, is going to force, I'm using the word force because that is the word that's going to be used. The second beast, the earth beast, is going to force everyone to worship the water beast or the first beast. We're going to go back and read that one more time. Okay? Just for emphasis. Verse 12. Revelation 13, verse 12. And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them that dwell on the earth. When they say the earth, are we talking about just one side of the earth?
No, the whole earth.
Entire earth. They will cause the entire earth and them that dwell, which means that lives on the earth, to worship the first beast. How is that going to happen? Everybody says it can't happen. You know why it can't happen? Because people are going to be saying no. Everybody going to worship the Pope. That ain't going to happen. I got my rights. Well, all right. We're going to talk about that.
Law, and through the law, they will force the people through the law.
Very good. Watch this. So let's dig a little deep. Let's go down the rabbit hole. Rabbit holes are fun. In chapter 13 of the Revelation, verses 1 through 10, is described another beast that is like unto a leopard, to which the dragon gave his power and seat and great authority. This symbol, as most Protestants have believed, represents the papacy, which succeeded to the power and the seat and authority once held by ancient Roman Empire. Okay? Of the leopard-like beast, it is declared, there was given to him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies. What does it mean to blaspheme? There. To put your place in God's place. That's one. What's another thing, another way to blaspheme?
Heresy.
No. What? Mark? No. Yeah, she said that. Man can be God, but what else? To forgive sins. Those are the two things. Two main things. One, he claims that he is God, and two, that he forgives sin. Well, if you are God, then you can forgive sins, because that's what God does. Right. That's only God can do that. So if you're claiming to be God, that means you are also claiming to forgive sin.
You're claiming to be God.
Right, that's it. You only claim. The operative word is claim. That's it.
That's what.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Go in, the Catholic people go in,
Confessions, right? Which is the most, which is the Catholic Church most deadliest way of knowing all of their people. That's the way they get them. It's because they tell them all of their the best secrets. Okay? You're telling a man who's just and even worse and more simple than you your secrets. Okay? So, blaspheme, God, to claim to be God is to claim to forgive sins. And he opened his mouth and blasphemed against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in the heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints. Who are the saints? Who were the saints? Who were the saints? Commandment-keeping people. People who did not fall or bow to Rome's power. Okay? What was Rome's power? We're going to go there in a second. And to overcome them, and power was given to him over all kindreds, that means people, over all tongues, that means languages, and nations, that's the whole world. This prophecy, which is nearly identical with the description of the little horn of Daniel chapter 7, unquestionably points to the who? The papacy. At this point, another symbol is introduced. Says the prophet, I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb. Both the appearance of this beast and the manner of its rise indicate that the nation which it represents is unlike those represented under the preceding symbols. So it's not like this beast. There's a vast contrast. Remember, we said the horn-like beast with the two horns, the one that came out of the earth, the horns represent liberties for religion, religious liberties, and civil liberties. Rome represents religious power and civil power. Difference. One, there is freedom. The other, there is not. Okay? What nation of the New World was in 1798 rising to power, giving to promise of strength and greatness, and attracting the attention of the world? What nation is that? America. Okay? The application of the symbol admits no question. One nation and only one meets the specifications of this prophecy. It points unmistakably to the United States of America. How do we know that? Right. In the 1400s, we know that Christopher Columbus came out here. He was sent out by the whom? By Spain. But he was sent out by Rome. See, because the Spaniards were under the influence of Rome. Oh, question. No? Okay. How in the world, who funded this excursions out to the new seas, to the new world? The people with the money. The Vatican. They're the only ones who control that. And Spain is surely a Vatican country. It is surely a Catholic country. So they were funded to come out here. Why? Because there were pagans living out here. Who were the pagans that were living out here? The people who are now on reservations. Very good. The American Indians, the Native Americans. These folks were pagans. And if you are a pagan, it's one thing to be pagan. But you see, the Catholic Church doesn't care about your pagan beliefs because they are also themselves pagan. But what they want is your pagan to be under their pagan. They want to indoctrinate your pagan and take you under their cloak of paganism. So the whole thing is to bring all the world under whom? The Pope. That's it. The Pope is the one that wants the power. Hence the reason why he's all over the place. He's doing his thing. Okay? So America was that nation. Any questions about what we just spoke about? Next one. And he had two horns like the lamb. The lamb-like horns indicate what? Youth, innocence, and gentleness, fitly representing the character of the United States when presented to the prophet as coming up in 1798. So, this young nation, remember when America started? It started with whom? Christian pilgrims. Or what were they called? So the P, not pilgrims, but so the P.
Oh, they were called the
Puritans. Puritans. Why were they called Puritans? Because they believed in the pure nature of the Bible and the Bible alone. Okay? So they were called Puritans, right? So during this time, remember how peaceful? Just imagine. They landed in America in the mid 1600s. Well, not mid, early 1600s, 1620, right? Just imagine, and now that Thanksgiving is coming around, imagine the pilgrims coming off the Mayflower, the Indians looking at like, who are these, these European, funny-looking people? They don't look nothing like us. Here they come with all the different colors and stuff like that. I'm sure they didn't bring a turkey, but a Cornish hen probably was what they brought. Okay? I mean, but this land is your land, my home is your home. Mikasa, whatever. Shikasa. Right? Yeah, they couldn't converse. I'm saying that's why I said in Spanish. Yeah, you got that. Yeah. What is he talking about? I don't know, but let's eat. Right? Just imagine, that, but there was peace. And not only there was peace, but there was people who were happy to now be able to worship God in his what? The way that they were free to do in their own conscience. Do you think Rome was done with them? No. Okay. Among the Christian exiles who first fled to America and sought an asylum for royal oppression and priestly intolerance were many who determined to establish a government upon the broad foundation of civil and religious liberty. Their views found place in the Declaration of Independence, which sets forth the great truth that all men are created equal and endowed with the inalienable right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And the Constitution, the one that we have now, guarantees the people the right of self-government, providing, understand that word, underline that word, underscore that word, self-government, providing that representatives elected by the popular vote shall enact, administer the laws. I'm going to read that for emphasis. And the Constitution guarantees to the people the right of self-government, providing that the representatives elected by the popular vote shall enact and consider and administer the what? The laws. Freedom of religious faith was also granted, every man being permitted to worship God according to the dictates of his what? Conscience. Republicanism and Protestantism became the fundamental principles of this here nation. These principles are the secret of its power and prosperity. Let's go back again, just for emphasis. The popular vote. The only way that people can make a popular vote is because they have the right to self. Well, been gone from the time it started. But the beast should have been here last week. We spoke about the popular and the electoral votes last week. But the beast with the lamb-like horns. You see how the great controversy you can find all of this in the great controversy you can find all of this. Okay, this is from the great controversy, straight out of it. But the beast with the lamb-like horns spake as a dragon, and he exercised all of the power with the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell in therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which was wounded by the sword and did live. So, again, we're talking about this image. We know that America, the Protestant church, Protestant America, will be the image. But how? How does this image form? How does the whole world then worship this beast? This is a quote from Donald J. Trump, our president-elect. At this moment, I would like to thank the evangelical and religious community in general who have been so good to me, so supportive. You have much to contribute to our politics, yet your laws prevent you from speaking your minds from your own pulpits.
No, yeah, our. Oh. You say yeah, our. You say yours.
Yet our laws prevent you from speaking your minds from your own pulpits. An amendment pushed by Lyndon Johnson many years ago threatens religious institutions with the loss of their tax-exempt status if they openly advocate their political views. I'm going to work very hard to repeal that language and protect free speech for Americans. Mr. Donald J. Trump, President-elect. What is he saying?
Say thanks for your support. I know you are right now reluctant to speak, but I'm going to make sure that you are heard.
Heard.
So all the
Either way, you've gotten both hands. Here's this thing. What is this really saying?
What is he going to do? What is he going to do? The vehicle. He's going to do that.
You have to go to legislation. But check this out. What amendment is this called? The Johnson Amendment. Okay? This is called the Johnson Amendment. The Johnson Amendment, which we'll see later, I'm just going to get ahead and give you a high level of this. For all those who are 501(c)(3), okay? You normally, especially for churches, cannot provide funds to political practice. So if Ian is running for senator, okay? Ian's running for senator, for Senate seat. Larry Nicholas, the pastor of a church, right now, under 501(c)(3), I cannot financially support. No, Ian, as it's to run for the Senate seat. I cannot support him financially. I cannot put money into that because of the amendment, the Johnson Amendment. You see, because I am a religious entity, I have to be separated from the political entity, right? Now, once Mr. Trump now removes the amendment, it gives me free reign as a church to say who I want to be in power, and it also gives me free reign for me to fund who I want to be in power.
Okay, well, did you look up the Lyndon Johnson?
Yes, I did.
And in fact, it says effect churches and other
nonprofit organizations, exactly. Right.
Who's engaged in promoting the election or defeat of political.
That's exactly.
candidates may receive tax
Status.
under other categories in the tax code.
Right. So basically, if I, as a church, put money in for this guy who's running for Senate, I lose my tax status. My tax status is 501c3.
But no, it says they may receive the tax.
No. If I'm not saying nothing, because I'm getting a tax exempt status as a 501c3. 501c3 always gets a tax exempt status. Right now, if you are a nonprofit organization, you get a tax exempt status as a 501c3. But the moment you, a nonprofit organization, take $10,000 and put it into a pot for the Senate guy or for the president who's running, you are now no longer going to get that tax exempt status because you've broken the law. Because right now there's a separation of church and state. The church cannot deem who gets into power for the state. And the state cannot tell you how to worship.
They do.
Hold on.
Why my pastor telling me to vote?
Oh no, they can tell their people to vote all day long. He can't. Right. He cannot, the church cannot deem and choose who they want. But wait a minute. Did they not just do that this time around? Who put Donald Trump? Who put Donald Trump in power? The church. Why?
Because of the laws that are sanctioned for the gays.
Immorality. Remember we spoke about this last year and 2 years ago, last year down the basement, we started talking about when immorality has reached its zenith. Eventually, America's going to say, you know what? We got to go back to Jesus. We're going to have a come to Jesus meeting. And hence, we see it now. It played out in front of our own very eyes.
Yeah, we didn't have a come to Jesus meeting.
Oh, we did?
No, we did not.
No, the come to Jesus meeting means that they got the person who they thought was going to bring morality back.
So
Hold on, I'm coming to you again, Disha.
It's an oxymoron, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because here's a man who's saying that he's going to bring back morality to
Mm-hmm.
America.
Mm-hmm.
And with him himself, he is an immoral person.
Exactly. That's exactly what.
So I'm like, are you guys in a small city, like lying?
Why the reason last week we spoke about should Christians vote? You cannot vote in morality. It is not our job to vote morality. It's not our job because, once again, that's like us going to, you know what voting is? It's the same thing as us going to the priest for confession. Here it is. How? Watch. You just finished saying the man we voted in is immoral.
She said it, but I
You agree? Okay.
I agree.
You thought about it. In your mind, she said what you
I
thought.
already knew that.
You already knew that. All right.
I mean, think about it. All the stuff you've seen, everything you've heard, you know, come out here all loud.
Right. But nothing from the other person was running with him.
So what? I'm not going to say
Nothing different from the person who was running against him.
That is true.
Nothing different at all. Here's the thing. It is nothing different with any one of them who was running before in the past. Because the sins the sin that the leader you have put in place is on your shoulder. Hence the reason why God told Israel, you do not need a king. But they forced their hand and said, you know, we want a king so bad. God said, you know what, Samuel? Give him a king. Because the same situation with Saul, it fell on the people. So every time the leader, Jeroboam, Rehoboam, all these leaders of these kingly leaders of Israel, every time they were corrupt, guess who was corrupted? The people were corrupted. That's the reason why God says we should not get involved, because we end up taking the blame for the things that they do in the office, and we do not know half the things that they do in the office. Just like Lyndon B. Johnson, he used to walk around naked in the White House.
Wow.
It's out there, literally out there. Yes, because he was very endowed in his testicles. In his testicles. Yes, they call him bull. Bull testicles. Bull. No, baby. No, but you can read it. Let's not move the shot. I'm just saying these, but here it is. What I'm trying to say is these are the things that we vote in. These are people that we vote in. I'm just using him as an example. Because you have many other presidents before him, after him, and president before him, after him, that came, that did some very, very foul stuff. And we is on our shoulders. Okay? So back to this. Watch this. We know, she said it, you thought it, that this man is immoral. Right? But here it is, that the nation was immoral when Trump was not president. The nation was immoral when Trump was not a president. Okay? So it has nothing to do with him now. The nation went immoral when Trump was not a president. Okay? Very good. Here it is. The church, what people forgot. Look how quick Americans forget. Look how quick Americans forget. Last year, September, he had a meeting with over 1,000 evangelical pastors. Trump, I told you saw it.
Yeah.
Okay? Where they prayed over him and everything, right?
And that's the part that doesn't make sense to me.
Mm-hmm. Talk.
Why would, I don't understand why the church even did that.
Why? Let me tell you why. Let me explain to you. I'm going to show it to you here.
I mean, that was crazy.
Listen to this. When the leading churches of the United States, who are the leading churches? No. Your Protestant evangelicals, your Big Baptists, all these big churches. All you gotta do is just name a few of them. Creflo Dollar, your Joel Osteen, you got Kenneth Copeland, that guy, Benny Hinn, all of them, right? But the leading, yes, the Swagger Jr. When the leading churches of the United States uniting upon such points of doctrine, your doctrine is just like mine, no, as are held by them in common, looking for common things, right? Shall influence the states. What shall they do? Influence the states to enforce their decrees and to sustain their institutions. I'm going to make sure that the voice of the church shall be heard, which means sustain their institutions. Then Protestant America will have formed an image of the Roman hierarchy, and the infliction of civil penalties upon dissenters will inevitably result. So understand that it is already happening, that the church brought somebody in, okay, and he had promised, because remember he stood in that room with 1,000 pastors, Adventists, Baptists, Presbyterian, Mormon, what you call them other guys, Jehovah's Witness, all of them were there. All of them were there. They're all under the evangelical banner. Okay?
So my question is, how do you even get all of them together?
All you got to tell is this. See, the other party is not talking about abortion. They're saying abortion is okay. The churches, you go on commonality. The churches.
But the Republican Party voted for and passed the law
Which law?
for Rose versus Wade.
No,
That's why yes, it is.
That was actually a Democrat.
No, it was not.
But
the majority were Republicans who voted for that.
But
not Democrats.
But just to let you know, the church does not want to have abortion. Okay? The church, when I say the church, I'm talking about Protestant America, doesn't stand for abortion. All Trump has to say is, I don't need it, and stand by it. The church will be right behind it. The church does not stand for same-sex marriage. When I say the church, Protestant America. All Trump has to say is, I don't do it either. And the church will stand by him. Okay? The church does not stand for unequal rights between humanity. All Trump has to say is, neither do I. I bring my Bible every day. In 2 Corinthians, here's where it says it. Okay? All right? But I'm just showing you that's all he had to say. Now.
So you're saying because he got them together and said, well, I don't.
No. He was saying that in his primaries, that they came to him. They came to him. They came looking for him.
You choosing the
Watch this. I'm gonna tell you. Did you know? Hold on, guys. Did you also know Jorge Beldario, Pope Francis, also endorsed Trump? I have it. I have it. He endorsed Trump. Even after the fact, I'm gonna tell you when he endorsed Trump. Watch this. After their disagreement about the wall, after their disagreement about the wall, the Pope spoke ill against them, and Trump says, I don't even know I don't know the Pope. Me talks about me, that's great. I didn't know, After that, they came together and shook hands. You know why they have to shake hands?
Why?
Because a year later, just before the presidency, 2 weeks before the election, guess where they need to be? Cardinal Henry's place, where you see both Trump and Hillary. At the Catholic dinner. Both Trump and Hillary. Every president, everyone who's running for president, they all have to be there eating dinner with Catholic Church.
Why?
It is a must. I'm gonna tell you why. Just hold on.
I ain't never heard of it like that.
Hang tight, Joy. Hang tight, huh?
Yeah, they were giving jokes. They were giving all kinds of
Oh, I have it for you. I'll show it to you. He also, now the Pope has to go both sides of the lip. See, because he endorsed Trump, he has to endorse Hillary. And he endorsed Hillary later. But they both made their speech. And Catholics, and have a Catholic church, he's fighting for them, and he's on how they suffer. You know, there's a clip that I would like to show you guys, hopefully we're not too late. There's a clip at the same dinner meeting. There's a video clip where they're praying, right? And the cardinal is between Hillary and Donald. What? I would love to show you this. As Donald is praying, and as the cardinal is praying, the cardinal's like this. There was some things said in the prayer. The cardinal reaches over, nudges Trump. Trump opens his eyes and goes back to praying. I'm telling you, this is not, I would love to show it to you, but I don't have time. Hang around, I'll find it for you, I'll show it to you. Hang around. All right, let's go, because there's a lot to go over. There's a lot to go over. Okay? From Antichrist to brother in Christ. How Protestant pastors view the Pope. Wait a minute. Huh? This is the image, the formation of the image. Remember, the image has to be formed. Who is going to form the image? Who's the image? Protestant America. But how will it be formed? Step by step. More than half of evangelical pastors say that Pope Francis is their brother in Christ. Wait a minute. Back in the we would have never said that.
No, ever.
More now, this whole part of the clip there is coming from this story. More than half of evangelical pastors say the Pope is brother. I just why those cutting paste. More than 1/3 say that they value the Pope's view on theology. 3 in 10 says he has improved their view on the Catholic Church. Those among the findings of a new study of 1,000 Protestant senior pastors, that's again your Benny Hinn and all of them, right? released this week from Nashville based Lifeway Research. Overall, the survey found that many Protestant pastors have taken a liking to Pope Francis. Wait a minute, there's more. There's more. Wait a minute, there's more. This is the Lutheran. The Lutheran and the Lutheran, that's the Lutheran pastor. Lutheran is a Protestant church, right? The Pope's great evangelical gamble. Somewhere in Pope Francis' office is a document that could alter the course of Christian history. It declares an end to hostilities between Catholics and evangelicals. When they say evangelicals, they're talking about what? Protestantism. Because they're all under the same banner. All churches are under the banner of evangelicals. Okay? And says the two traditions are now united in mission because we declare the same gospel. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Was there not a story in Nehemiah and in Ezra when Nehemiah was building the wall? Right? King Xerxes told Nehemiah, hey, I found that note. Go back and build just your wall of your city. And did not some people come and say, hey, Nehemiah, come down here. We got to talk to you. And Nehemiah was like, for what? I'm busy building the wall. And they were like, wait, we want to help you. Remember, your God is our God? And Nehemiah was like, there's no way your God is my God.
That's why no way Catholic.
But that's what they're saying. But there's no there, but there's
Joy, there's no way, but they're saying, see, here it is. The Catholic Church will tell you the truth, what they are doing, because they are the powerful people. They crush all who comes in front of them. So they're not afraid to tell you what the plan is. And they will not tell you some of the plan, most plans, because it's all done in secrecy. But we're still coming along. We have some ways to go for you to see what the history looks like. The Holy Father is thinking of singing the text, signing the text in 2017. That is when?
2 months.
Next year.
2 months.
Remember I told you October 31st, 2016, on Monday I said, George, something special happened. There was something that was very big that a lot of people don't know about because this is a historical day. It was Halloween, October 31st, 2016, right? I said that the Pope was going to Sweden to declare that Protestantism is over. The whole thing's going to be 1 year to get all the Protestant churches under the banner of the Roman Church.
But isn't that this year on that?
No, that was the beginning of the signing. Now he's going to have all the, listen to this. Hold on. Oh my gosh. You're going to blow my brain out. I have an article for you. I have an article for you. And it's not in here, but I'm going to have to show it to y'all later. All the churches were in Sweden.
This year?
Yes. All the churches were in Sweden. And the Pope, had declared it. Protestantism is over. When he looked into the audience and he found the one church. When he found the one, because on the back, the list, the roll call, he roll called all of the churches that were there. And when he found that one church, he says, Protestantism is over. It is over. So, in 2017, hold on, I need to. I know, go ahead.
Wait. You say yours and I'm going to say mine.
You mean our denomination was?
Yes, ma'am.
He said nothing.
Mr. Diop said not a word. Shook hands, hugged. Thank you, Pope. Took pictures and everything. I got that all sitting somewhere in this computer.
All right, so my question is this. You say all churches were there being represented, but then the question is, who determined that they were representing that particular denomination?
Now, that's a good question. Hang tight. You know what? Enjoy the elevator music on the phone while you hold. I'm coming to that answer real quick. Watch this.
that's wrong.
Answer the question.
I'm gonna answer the question. Joy, I have the answer in here. Trust me. I'm not gonna forget that. I'm not gonna forget that question. Okay. Signing of the text in 2017, the 500th anniversary, which is next year, October 31st, 2017. At the what's the anniversary? No, the anniversary is what Luther had done in 1517, October 31st, when he knocked the 95 theses on the door. That started the Reformation. 500. This will be 500 years next year. Okay. Alongside evangelical leaders representing roughly one in four Christians in the world today, Francis is convinced that the Reformation is already over. He believes it ended in 1999. The year the Catholic Church and the Lutheran World Federation issued a joint declaration on justification, the doctrine at the heart of Luther's process. Remember?
So he only
This started in
targeted.
1999.
Oh no, before that.
But he's
I'm not gonna film it. I'm saying
specifying.
he specified in 1999. He specified Lutheran.
Because he.
In 2017, he's going to specify all churches. But in 1980, there was an ex-Jesuit that had said, his name was Alberto Rivera. He said in his book, the papacy had given America the sign to show Protestantism was over. The world would not have known that sign, but only the papacy would have known. The sign was the next president in 1980, the person to be president in 1980, would face the obelisk, face the obelisk, the Washington Monument, when he gives, it is past, when he gives his oath, when he gets sworn in, he'll be facing the Washington Monument. That is the sign of Protestantism is over in America.
Okay, that's so amazing.
I'm gonna explain a lot of things to you. In 1980, but the world, the rest of the world does not know. Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
And did they tell you on the wall?
They did. So what?
First, when Reagan came into president, he did not abide by the Roman law. That's why he was attempted for what? Assassination. But they didn't kill him. Oh, there's a whole lot of history that you don't know yet. That's why they didn't kill him. But when he got up and he flew right, remember him and John Paul got together, the Holy Alliance, and Gorbachev and Russia became a democracy, from a communism to democracy, and the Berlin Wall. Don't build walls, we gotta build bridges, says Pope Francis. Always keep in mind. I'm coming to the question. So we know that the Roman Catholic Church, the papacy, ruled with an iron fist and shed the blood of many during the Dark Ages, the years between 538 and 1798 AD, right? We know that, right? The 1,260 years, right? We also know that in 1798, the papacy had lost one of its two powers, which she had, which is a civil, but she kept her religious power, right? We just went over that, right? But since 1798, did the Roman Catholic Church stop its assault on Protestantism? What was the church doing after 1798? Gather more information. Well, let's do this.
Okay, so I guess the question is, what is the whole purpose of papacy wanting to get all the world's religions together?
Good question. How many questions is that? Two? I owe you two answers.
You better make sure you give
You
them
better write
answers.
them down.
Well, let's.
And look, you gonna keep going, you gonna forget, and I'm gonna come back. That's all right, because I know where you work at.
Let's do this. Let's do this real quick. Let's go back to the future, real fast. All right, we're gonna go right back to the future. Take a step back and go back in time. Boom. We're going back in time.
Now, you know that's the only thing that
We're going back to the future so I can answer some of these questions that my friend Joy has. In 321 AD, Constantine changes the solemnity of the Sabbath to the venerable day of the sun, which now all the majority of the world goes to church on when? Sunday. They changed God's law. Can somebody read Daniel chapter 7, verse 25 for me, please? Daniel chapter 7, verse 25. Chapter 7, verse 25. Anybody can read it?
25.
Yes.
And he shall
Speak up, because
speak great words against the Most High, and he shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and a dividing
of time. Very good. So he shall think to change times and laws. 321 AD, the year of our Lord. Constantine changes the solemnity of the Sabbath to the venerable day of the sun. The changing of the Sabbath happened, and that's a law. And he also changed the time of which worship is supposed to happen, which was on the 7th day. They changed it to the 1st day of the week. All right? 538 AD, Emperor Justinian transfers civil powers and kingship over to the Bishop of Rome. Remember that the ancient Rome, or what they call the Roman Empire, which was with emperors and, right, we had emperors back in those days, right? Well, at this time, the emperor transferred his power to who? The Pope or the Bishop of Rome. And the Bishop of Rome, who already had the religious power, now has what? Civil power. Ooh, 538 AD. That's the beginning. Year 1000 AD, the first schism to the Catholic Church. The Catholic Orthodox breaks away from the Catholic Church. Remember that schism? They're back. There were so many things I found out this year as to why World War I had started, as to why World War II had started, as to the reasons why they were doing all them things in Serbia and places like that, is to do away with the Orthodox Catholic Church. Oh, there's so much, so much rich history. I'm gonna come back. That's just coming off the top of my head. I don't want to lose my track, because if I do, I'm gonna be here all night. There's a lot of stuff I want. I'd like to answer your 2 questions. 1517, October 31st, 1517. Martin Luther nails his 55 theses on the Castle Church in Wittenberg. 95, thank you. In Germany, which started the process of Reformation. That was the second schism. How many schisms did the Mother Church have? 2. 1, the Orthodox Church had left her. That's why last year, 2015, he opened the door of St. Peter's Basilica and said that is the year of what? Mercy. And he opened the door and he said that in November of this year, the door is going to what? Close. He opened the door for all Catholics, the year of mercy, for both Catholic and Orthodox Catholics to come home. That's why him and Curiel went to Cuba and they signed that the schism is over between the Orthodox Church and the Catholic Church in July of 2016. No, darling, no. He wasn't going to just visit Castro. Oh, and don't get me started on why Cuba's open now. But that's a whole other word. Listen to this. Listen to this. That was now 1517. You see? He did it already for the Orthodox Church. Guess who's he after right now? The Protestant Church. So the second schism now, and once the second schism comes together, guess what's going to be healed? The wound will be healed. All right. 1540, the Jesuit order was established. the order established to demolish what? They had to get something to go against what Luther had started. 1546, the Council of Trent. The Council of Trent was convened with one great goal in mind: how to stop Protestant Reformation. 1546. 1556, the first Jesuits on American soil. Who are they after? No. No, remember the Puritans didn't come in until 1620. Who are they after? The Indians. 1773, the Jesuit order was ended. No. They're all over the world. The Jesuit order was ended in 1773. Their own Pope ended it, and they killed him by the way of poison. 1775, the American Revolutionary War began. 1776, the Illuminati order begins under the Jesuit priest Johann Adam Weishaupt. Is he? Johann Adam Weishaupt. Okay? Actually, it's a German. But the Illuminati order began in 1776. In 1776, America also declares its what? Independence. Watch this. Because he was in France at the time.
That's before we got Statue of Liberty.
Oh, Statue of Liberty didn't come until another 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
1789, French Revolutionary War begins. That sparks the Napoleonic Wars. 1789, America becomes a what? A nation. 1798, the Pope of Rome captured by General Berthier and dies in where? That same year. America got its what? In the New York Harbor stands a lady with a torch raised to the sky, and all who sees her knows what she stands for: liberty, you and I. 1798, Pope gets captured. 1798, France gives America. 1798, Rome lost its power. 1798, America is free. Watch this. 1814, the Council of Vienna convened. It's called the Congress of Vienna. The Congress of Vienna was a black conspiracy against popular governments, which was in short a promise to prevent or destroy popular governments wherever it's found. What is a popular government? That's what we spoke about. What's a popular government? No, do something better than that. A popular government are governments that provide you the inalienable rights. It provides you freedom of religion. It provides you freedom of civil liberties. It provides you it gives everybody equality. That's a popular government because it's governed by the whom? The people. That's what you call a popular government. So the Council of Vienna or the Congress of Vienna was set up to destroy popular governments. And the people who started this Congress, Rome. 1815, Pope Pius reinstates, I spelled reinstated incorrectly, excuse me. I'm supposed to be I somewhere there. Pope Pius VII reinstates the Jesuit order in 1815. When did the council meet? In 1814. They met for a year. They ended their meetings in 1815. And Pope Pius says, we're going to meet them boys. Reinstate them back. I'm coming to your answer to your question. 1822, two more congresses met. One, Verona Congress. During this Congress, it was decided that America would be the target of Jesuit emissaries and that America had to be destroyed at all costs. Why is America has been destroyed?
So what's the whole thing? Why do you want America?
I'm coming.
You already wrong. Got that.
Why do you want America?
Gives you a power of government. Which is
Right. Let me pause for the cause. When Christ walked on this earth, what was the government that was in power? Roman Empire. Were they not the leaders of this world? Of the then known world. Who was the leader of the then known world before Rome? Come on, people. Daniel chapter 7, verses 1 through 6. I'm going backwards. Who were the powers before Rome? Before Rome.
Greece.
Who?
Greece.
Thank you. Who was a power before Greece? Who was a power?
Middle Persia.
Those four major powers have something to do with this. What does it have to do with anything?
No, but what's that got to do with America?
That's what.
I mean, that's all the way over there.
Right.
So I didn't even care about what's going on.
Why? Let's go to Daniel chapter 2 for a second. Everybody go to Daniel chapter 2. Let's go to Daniel chapter 2 for a second. She wants to know, what does it have to do with us?
Yeah.
Because the Bible says there's nothing new underneath the sun.
Daniel chapter 2. And you know what? Let's go ahead and tackle. Oh, my battery. Dead. I need a battery in my hand. Yeah. Let's go to 42. I heard somebody ruffling some pages in there. Sounds good. Daniel chapter 2, verse 42. Oh, before we go there, you know what? Let's take a step back to 36. Yeah. Now I'm going to read it in your hearing. Okay? Y'all there?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Daniel had told Nebuchadnezzar the dream. Now he's going to tell him the interpretation of the dream. This is the dream, and we will tell now the interpretation thereof before the king. You, O king, or thou, O king, art a king of kings, for the God of heaven hath given you a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory. Who gives power, strength, and glory? Who gives the kings kingdoms? God does. Good. And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven hath he given into your hand, and hath made you, or thee, ruler over them all. You, King Nebuchadnezzar, are the head of gold. Okay? And after you, or after thee, shall arise another kingdom inferior to you, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over the whole earth. The brass is who again? Who is brass?
Middle Persia.
No. Greece. Remember their weapons were all made of brass?
Oh, yeah.
God gave everything in the Bible. They didn't even know they were making the weapons of brass. God spoke to them years. He spoke about them years before they came around. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as what? Because iron does what? It breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things. Is brass stronger than iron? No. Is gold stronger than iron? No. How about silver? No. So iron is the strongest kingdom. Okay? As iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise. And whereas you saw the feet and toe that was part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be what? Divided. Who's he talking about there? Europe. Joy, let's try to make it. Watch this. This is the best interpretation you can ever get of futurism. For as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay, and As the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly what? Strong and partly broken. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men. But they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron does not mix with what? Because Europe has tried to form a one world government for so long. Even to the fact that a couple months ago, what happened? Brexit. They were so surprised when Brexit happened because the Bible says that you will never be ever come together as one because iron does not mix with clay. You understand? Yeah. Question. I see the hamsters. Okay. And in the days, 44, and in the days of these kings shall God of heaven set up a kingdom that shall never be destroyed. And the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. 45, for as much as thou saw that the stone was cut out of the mountains without hand, and that it brake in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, and the silver, and the gold, and the great God hath made known to the king that what shall come to pass hereafter. And the dream is what? Certain. And the interpretation of it is what? Sure. So what God is trying to tell us right now, that this statue that was made, that the Nebuchadnezzar had a dream of, that Daniel gave an interpretation of, were the four major kingdoms. The head of gold was Babylon. The body of silver right here was Median Persia. Brass, legs and thigh was Greece. The legs of iron, being that was two separate legs of iron, was Rome, that had even split north and south. Iron, this was what you call the Roman Empire that Christ was born in. Christ lived during the Roman Empire, right? Wasn't it Pontius Pilate that had washed his hands, right? So he was living through the Roman Empire. Remember, after Christ had died, who was killing all the Christians that John had lived through? Who put John in Patmos? Who put John in Patmos? Nero. Roman Empire. Who beheaded all these Christians? The Roman Empire. They were around. This is even before the Dark Ages even began. They were putting all the Christians in where? The Colosseum, had lions, tigers, and bears eating them up, right? This was the Roman Empire. And then came remember, you had the legs of iron, right? And then what did the feet have in it? Iron mixed with what? Clay. Who was still the iron? Rome. Inside the where? The feet. And they were all throughout what? Europe. So Rome had control over the entire world. Killing all the Christians. If you did not stand by what the Rome wants you to do, you will call the what? You said before. A heretic. And they ran after you and they killed you if you did not stand with them and their foolishness. Put it like this: if you did not bow down to their Lord and worship them, they killed you. So all of these Christians eventually had to do what? Run away. And eventually they ran to the world that opened its arms to them. How do we know that America is in the Bible? Now let's take a trip down to Revelation chapter 12. Revelation chapter 12. What does America have to do with all of this? Why is America there? Well, let's talk about America. America the Great. Revelation chapter 12. Let's go there. And let's go. Let's go to verse 1. Verse 1, Rev 12. I like to say Rev 12 because it has a Rev 12. It has a nice little hint. Revelation chapter 12. Are you ready? And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her, and upon her head had what? A crown of 12. Let's break that down. What appeared in what wonder appeared in heaven? A woman represents a what? A church. What was she clothed with?
The sun.
Which means she was what?
Pure.
Bright and pure. And what was under her feet?
The moon.
Oh, what does God says he has up under his feet? The moon. It's the moon because the moon does what? It gets its light from where? The sun. We ought to be that moon that gets our light from whom? Who is the sun? The S-O-N, Christ. You see the representation here? Upon her head had a what? A crown of what? 12 stars. Why 12? Represents the nations of the tribes of Israel. And then the stars represent what? What? No. Stars are who? What are stars? Then people about give me more. Angels are stars or pastors and messengers. Because she's a what? A church. In this church have what? Pastors. They are my messengers. Because the Bible calls the stars the angels. Christ calls his angels pastors as well. Because they are messengers. And she being with a what? Child, cried and travailed in birth, and pain to be what? Delivered. Who was this child? Christ was this child, right? Okay? Now we're talking about that this woman here that we're talking about now is who? Mary, because we understand Mary was the one who had given birth. Because in verse 3, there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his head. His tails drew what? A third part of the stars of heaven, and he did cast into the earth, and the dragon stood before the what? Now, Joy, this woman is spoke of in 2 separate ways. There's a type and anti-type. Write that down. Type and anti-type. Type, meaning this woman is Mary. Anti-type, meaning the woman also represents the church.
Type woman is Mary.
Yes.
Type is
the church. Because this woman here, the dragon who's standing before the woman, if you go to Genesis chapter 3, there was a curse put on the serpent. And he said that I will put enmity between you and who? The woman. Who was God talking about then? He was talking to Satan, but who was the woman? The church. I will put enmity between you and the church. Oh, but wait a minute. He was also talking about the one who will be carrying the mother of the child, because he says that you shall bruise his heel and he shall crush your so that he had to have been born to do so. You see how the Bible works in tandem with itself? That prophecy came first in Revelation, followed through in Genesis chapter 3. So the woman, church, and also all represents the mother of Christ. Because the dragon here is also type and anti-type. The dragon represents Satan, that demon, that devil, right? Represents Satan. And the dragon in anti-type also represents the person who tried to kill Jesus. Had a baby. Who was that? Herod. Okay? So the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. We knew that Herod was after that baby, right? And who else was after that baby? The devil through Herod. Okay? And also the devil was after the church in what? Inception. Remember, they didn't want Stephen. Did they want Stephen? They what? Stoned him. Oh, the Bible is clear. Let's skip on down. We're going to go down to verse 13 of Revelation chapter 12. And the dragon saw that when he was cast out into the earth, this here is talking about the devil, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child. This dragon persecuted the what?
The church.
The woman, represented by the
Church.
okay, which brought forth the man-child. And to the woman were given how many wings? 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the where? Wilderness, into her place where she is nourished for how long? A time and times and half a time. Daniel chapter 7 says a time and time and the dividing of times. Revelation 13 says 42 months. And 14. Okay? So, and to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle. What does that mean? The church went into the where? Wilderness. And she was what? Shh. Silence. For how many years? 1,260 years. Quiet. No Bibles. They're on the ground. Because they were doing what? Persecuting Christians. And oh, look at this one now. And the serpent, who's the serpent? Satan cast out of his mouth water. What does it represent?
People.
Peoples, as a flood after the woman. What does woman represent?
Church.
Ooh, Bible is so colorful, precise. The serpent spewed the water, which is people, after the what? The church. To what? Persecute the church. This is what we call the Dark Ages. Very good. And guess what happened? And the earth opened up her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. And then here comes Revelation chapter 13. And I saw, verse 11, another beast coming up out of the earth. Did y'all see the correlation between verses 15 and verses 11 of chapter 13? The earth. That earth. So the people came from the old world, Europe. They ran from papal brutality and persecution, hence why they were called the Pilgrims. Came on the Mayflower and landed on Plymouth Rock. Whatever they did, if Plymouth Rock had landed on somebody, they'd been dead by now. But they landed in Massachusetts in Plymouth Rock. They were all landed in Plymouth Rock, and hence is the nation that came. People came to America for freedom of what? Religion, because of what was going on in the old world. Now, the old world did not forget that they had lost some people who ran away to the new world. And the old world want their people. The old world wants supremacy because the old world from 538 to 1798 had power over all the people of the world. And they know that America is the one stopping them from having their power. So how do I get that power back? I got to destroy Protestantism. Because who started Protestantism? Reformers like John Huss, John Wycliffe, John Calvin, right? Martin Luther. These were reformers who started the Reformation of Protestantism. They broke away literally from the Catholic Church. And they have now caused what you have, all the different denominations in Protestantism. John Wesley, the Methodist. John Calvin was a Calvinist. The Presbyterians, the Hussians. You have Lutherans with Martin Luther, right? You have what's it called, the guy who did John Baptiste, right? The Baptist, or they were called the Anabaptists back then. Okay, you have all these different denominations that came out of the Reformation that pulled away from the Catholic Church. Oh, they want their babies back. That's why the Catholic Church is called the Mother Church, and every other one is called the what? Her daughters. So they want them back, and they all live where? America. And America has even done a dirty job by going to all the other worlds and doing what? Indoctrinating this Christianity and Protestantism everywhere else. Oh no, we've done dirty to the Roman Catholic Church because we've done worse now, because the Catholic Church is now saying, you've done even worse now. You proselytize. You went and started evangelizing, and you started making Protestants out of Catholics. Hence the reason why Pope Francis said last year, I'm opening the door, a year of mercy. All Catholics come back home. Yes. This year, he's opening the door for all Protestantism now to come back home. All Protestants come back home. Hence the reason why it's called the Ecumenical movement. And it's happening in rapid succession. Now, it seems like all the Protestant churches are saying, ain't nothing wrong with the Pope. 10 years ago, they were preaching differently, weren't they? 15 years ago, they were preaching differently, weren't they? Now, all of a sudden, they're shaking and hugging the Pope. There's a reason. Hold on, I'm going to come back to you that question. Now, to answer your question, question number one, how do we know? How do we know that what denomination went to that place? How do they know and choose who, what? Because of the system that the Roman Catholic Church has. It's a secret system that nobody knows. How many people in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 2 of us are Jesuits. You wouldn't know. 2 of us here are sitting down, worshiping with you, studying with you, and even leading out the presentation. And you would not know. You would not know. But here's what the Jesuits will do. Yeah, exactly. Kill you. Literally. That's not a lie. For real. The motto of the Jesuit is, the motto of a Jesuit, I'm going to show it to you. The motto of a Jesuit is this, that the end justifies the means. So it doesn't matter who's here in this room. I'm one, he could be one, but you will never know that we're one, and what we'll do, we'll split the middle of you. We'll cause dissension between the groups. That's our job. So I'm going to continue here now because I answered one of your questions. The other question was, who? Listen to me. Watch this. Hold on. Don't jump yet. I want you to pay attention to this because you're going to get answers to your questions. Your other question. What does America have to do with all this? Right? What does that have to do with America? Well, because America is a Protestant country. The Roman Catholic Church, the papacy, who does not give you freedom of conscience. Because remember, they're the ones who control the church and the state. America is a country that has separation of church and state. They don't have that. And all of the churches came out of Rome. They want to come back here and say, hey, listen, it needs to work our way. I'm the father of the world. All come back to the Pope. The job of the Jesuits is to bring everyone back to the Pope. By the hook or the crook, you're coming back to the Pope. So the last thing we're going to do, we're going to pass a law. And that law will force everyone now back to the Pope. And if you don't, you will burn, flay, kill, steal your babies, do whatever it can to get you back to the Pope.
But you still didn't answer the question.
Which one? Which one?
My question was, you said that all the different denominations showed up.
Yes.
I said, and who made the determination? No. Who made the determination that whoever showed up from the denomination that they had the right to represent that denomination?
The Jesuits.
Not that
the Jesuit system.
The Jesuit system.
Yes. The Jesuit system gives them that right. Here's why. It doesn't make sense to you because if you don't know who the Jesuits are, it will never make sense. It doesn't make sense to you because you don't know who they are. But once you know who they are, then you understand. It's called the fifth column. You look at me kind of crazy. One general there's one general, I forgot his name, it will come to me later on. One general had said, it is always harder to attack from the four columns on the exterior when you're leading an army. To lead an army into a nation, into a kingdom, it is always harder to attack from the four corners, which means north, south, east, and west. That's four columns, north, south, east, and west. But I have a fifth column. That fifth column is on the inside. I attack from the inside.
So are you saying that the ones who showed up from the different denominations were Jesuits who
infiltrated the church? All Jesuits have infiltrated the church. And I'm going to tell you something. Even the person who's not a Jesuit, but the Jesuit has infiltrated the church, have been influenced by the Jesuit to show up. Hold on, let me explain this to her.
I don't understand what you meant.
I'm explaining. So, watch this, Joy. My job as a Jesuit is to stick around as long as I can in order to influence. Case in point. Donald Trump may not be a Jesuit. As a matter of fact, I'm not even sure he's a Catholic. But most presidents end up being Catholics for some reason. I don't know why. But he may not be a Jesuit. I'm going to tell you why. Because anytime you take the Eucharist, anytime you take a part of the Eucharist, only Catholics can take the Eucharist. But if you see a president taking the Eucharist, it's because he was baptized or he was indoctrinated into Catholicism, unknown to the country. Anytime you see like President Clinton, all of them, and they take part of that Eucharist, you've got to be a Catholic because only Catholics can do that. The Eucharist is a communion. The Holy Communion, they call it. No, you have communion, not the Eucharist.
Okay, that's when you kiss the hand and all
The
that.
Eucharist is them conjuring up the body of Christ and letting you know that this is the real body, that they recreated Christ and they took the pieces of his body and given it to you to eat. And when you come up to them, they put their hand in your mouth and you must kiss their hand at the same time.
What?
Yeah.
He drinks up the same cup of everybody.
There's things that you don't know. It sounds like it's blowing your mind right now. But this stuff is real. But people don't know that because you got to spend time studying God's word because it's all in there. Listen to this part. I'm explaining to you now that as you come in, this president coming in, Donald J. Trump, Mike Pence says he's a Protestant, but he's a Catholic. That's a Jesuit. Mike Pence, the vice president. You see, we only had one Catholic president. One. His name was what? John Kennedy. Because he was not standing for, he did not get his instructions from Rome. He denounced his instructions from Rome. He even said it himself. I do not take my instructions from the church. They killed Kennedy. Okay? After that, we never had another Catholic president or vice president. Who was our first vice president Catholic? JB. Who's still in power right now? Joe Biden. Yes! Our first Catholic vice president.
Is he really?
Oh, yes. Watch this. Influence. Influence. Obama may not even be a Catholic, but influence. His whole cabinet is made up of Catholics and Jesuits. Influence. Mike Pence. Influence. Clinton, if she had gotten it. Tim Kaine, Jesuit. Influence. They don't want to be the president. They want to have influence. And oh, by the way, Donald J. Trump gave Mike Pence partly 51% of the power of presidency by letting him take control of building his cabinet.
Oh, was that what he did?
Yeah.
Influence. And oh, by the way, they control the banking system. So whoever controls the money controls the presidency. They have the power. Influence. So when they tell you you're going to be in Sweden, you're going to be in Sweden. You're going to make your way. Get that ticket. You got to go. Because the Pope says so. And I want all Protestantism churches there so I can declare that Protestantism is over. Go ahead. You have more to fear on the inside than those on the outside. Exactly. Now, oh, the guy who said that about the fifth column, Mussolini, because he had 4, he had 5. He said, my army has taken over the 4 columns, but I have a 5th. The 5th column is on the inside. Who is the most diabolical leader of war? No. He's a spiritual dude. Yeah, he's only in the spirit. You can't see him in the flesh. That's the biggest thing I can give y'all. Diabolical leader of all war. Who? There you go. Why? Because where was he in heaven? 5th column. He was inside. He didn't do his job on the outside of heaven. He did his job on the inside. He divided.
How many angels he got with him?
He almost had a half.
Yes.
But then he only took a 3rd, which is a whole lot. Just think of how much the host of heaven is. So just understand that this same power, remember the dragon gave them the power. The dragon, who is the same devil, gave them the power. So this is being operated under natural Satanist power. This is not something that you can toy with. This is not something that we can just kind of like, oh, well, whatever, this Catholic Church, who cares about it? No, when the Bible says the whole earth, the whole world, the whole earth will eventually worship the beast. This is not something we can play with. How will they do it is the question. How? Going through the history tells us that the Pope reinstates the Jesuit power. Then they met in the Verona Congress, which says that we're going to attack America because America is a what? A powerful nation, and it's Protestant. 1825, the Chieri Congress. At that gathering, plans were discussed for the advancement of papal power. 2 different things. 3 different things. 1, the first one was Vienna, how to stop Reformation. 2, the second one was the Verona, right? How to get America, how to destroy America. 3, the third one was Chieri, how to bring back the world to the Pope. A worldwide for a destabilizing of governments who stood in the way and for the crushing of all opposition to Jesuit schemes and ambitions. What we aim at is the empire of the world. This is Rome talking here. We must get them, the great men of the earth, to understand that the cause of evil, the bad leaven, will remain as long as Protestantism shall exist. That Protestantism must therefore be utterly abolished. Heretics are the enemies that we are bound to exterminate. This is coming from the Catholic Catechism. This is them. This is them. This is not a joke. This is not something that we can just say, oh, okay, well, you know what? President Monroe, he got heard of these congresses while he was in America. He got heard of it. He heard of it. He was like, oh, is this what they're trying to do? Okay, well, I'm gonna make a something called the Monroe Doctrine. The Monroe Doctrine was simply put that if any other country from Europe comes into America and tries to colonize us, take control of us, that's an act of war. We're going to war with you right away. That's the Monroe Doctrine.
Hey, Larry,
Yes.
I guess that answers the question if whether or not Rome know that they are worshiping the beast.
Does Rome know that they're worshiping the beast?
No, because a lot of people have asked if Rome know that they are actually worshiping the beast. And the verse that you just read shows that, yeah, they do.
They do know. They know. Rome knows who they are. Rome, let me say, the reason why you keep the Bible from people, the reason why you keep something away from a person, what have I told you before? If you want to hide something from somebody, you put it in the book. Put it in the book. Okay? The reason why Rome had dissolved the Bible from every and anybody. That's why Catholics don't have Bibles. Right? The reason why they take the Bible from them is because why? The Bible tells you who they are, gives you the address of their home, points them out directly, talks about the woman wearing what? Scarlet and purple.
With the golden cup of
The
blasphemy.
golden cup in her hand. Gives you the name that it's a name of a man. And his name is what? 6'3" scoring what? 6. Break it down as vicariously like they are. It tells you who he is. That's the reason why they don't want nobody to read the Bible. If that was the case, then you would know who I am.
You say put it in a book, I say put it in plain sight.
And that's another way to do it. That's what they do. They hide it in plain sight. But they understand that nobody's going to read the Bible. That's being hidden in plain sight right now. I told Joy the other day, God sends text messages to everybody. They don't want to read it. The ultimate Trojan horse. The ultimate Trojan horse. What was the Trojan horse at the last time you ever heard of a Trojan horse? What was that about? The Trojan horse? No, I'm not talking about viruses.
Okay. Oh, the war.
What war?
That was back in the, I can't remember, Troy or something.
Greek mythology.
Oh, yeah. But it's not mythology. It actually happened.
It actually happened, right?
It actually happened.
It actually happened,
Yeah.
right? They all went to what? All the armies of that country was what? Inside of a what? On the horse. And they all brought the horse in. Everybody, hey! At nighttime, everybody went to bed. They all came out and destroyed. The ultimate Trojan horse. Huh? Inside. Outside. They had to get on the inside. What you call the what? The fifth column. The Monroe Doctrine. The Monroe Doctrine. After the Verona, after the Chieri Congresses, Mr. President Monroe found out about it and he put a doctrine together. Was America's response to the Jesuits, Congress of Vienna and Verona. America would consider it an act of war if any European nation sought colonial expansion in the Western Hemisphere. The Jesuits have been able to secretly attack and infiltrate America to accomplish exactly what the Monroe Doctrine was stated to protect against. How did they do it? How did they do it? Huh? Well, they have been able to get away with it because it was done with the utmost secrecy and under the facade of being a church. The Catholic Church worked through the Constitution in order for the Catholic Church to sit inside of America. You got freedom of religion, right? Everybody's free to worship whoever they want, right? So how about we just bring our church right inside? Tuck it right next to it. And then we're going to build some schools around it. We're going to build some major schools around it. We're going to have our schools come around. Oh, it gets even better. The Jesuits helped form the First Amendment before they worked within. They formed the fifth column in America. So we're going to help you write the First Amendment, that no law shall be enacted against any religious entity with any worship against any man's conscience. Ah, that sounds good. That helps us out because when we bring our Catholic Church in, it fits right into your law. There's nothing you can say or do about it because we're worshiping Jesus. You see how this thing works? The ultimate Trojan horse. These guys are tactical. Use our own constitutional right against us. And we don't even know. Here we are. All of a sudden, we celebrating Christmas. We never had a Christmas when the Pilgrims came because they knew exactly what it was. They wanted to stay away from that. We celebrating Easter. Again, they didn't want that either in their country. Halloween? What? No. But all of a sudden, it started creeping up. Oh, it gets even better. Let's move on for a little bit. Oh, the ultimate Trojan horse. Back to the future. In fulfilling the councils of Vienna, Verona, and Chicheri, the Catholic Church divided the North and South against their agent. John C. Calhoun, a Jesuit vice president, who was Andrew Jackson's vice president. Remember that? They sought to destroy the economy through Nicholas Bill, the first Central Bank of America. And then they used the poison cup and assassin's bullet to assassinate and to attempt to assassinate a total of 5 presidents within the span of 25 years. Who did they assassinate? Let's call out the names. William Henry, Zachary Buchanan. What was the other guy's name? They tried to assassinate, but they didn't kill him. Goodness gracious. No, JFK. This is before JFK. Of course, Abe Lincoln. Right? I can't get the other guy's name, but the third president, the other president, they attempted to kill, but they poisoned him, but they didn't kill him. They also poisoned the boy George Washington. They baptized him, then they poisoned him.
I don't think Pence is really good.
Who?
Pence.
Yeah.
But he is.
Biden did too. She said, well, I think that Pence is going to be running this country.
When he gave him an authority to.
Once you give him the authority.
He gave him the authority to choose what to do.
Right. Watch this. They reddened American soil with the blood of thousands of American young men in the terrible Civil War. Oh, that we had eyes to see that Rome never changed. What she did in the past, she is still doing today. May God help us understand that the evil of the Roman papacy, then and now, has not changed. Because she wants her power back. Did you know there was something called a Black Pope?
Yeah. They talk about it today.
Who is a Black Pope? Who is a Black Pope?
I think I've heard about it.
No, he's not a Black Pope. Well, who is a Black Pope? What is his job? You have the white Pope. You have a Black Pope. You also have a red Pope. Yes.
Wait.
You want me to break it down for a second? Oh, you want me to break it down again? No, that's not what it is. But do you want me to break it down for you? Yes, the red, the black, and the white horse, correctly. You want me to break it down for you real quick? The white Pope is the one that's the face of the Vatican.
That's the one.
Wait, and the Black Pope is the one going to see.
The Black Pope is not the face. He's faceless.
Yeah, right.
The white Pope is the Godhead. He is the head of the Godhead. The Black Pope is the Jesuit general. He is the head of the Jesuit system. He's the one that calls the arm. You go and destroy. But you don't see the face of the Black Pope at all. The red Pope is the Pope of the Cardinal. They pass the judicial laws.
They are definitely wearing red.
Yeah.
They literally pass the law. They make it and they pass it. That's where we are. History. Let's go down history's lane. Back to the future. Okay. I didn't want to stay too long. I was trying to move fast. So I really have to go, but a lot of questions. I'm trying to answer them at the same time. Okay. 1861, American Civil War began. 1863, Emancipation Proclamation declared. 65, Abraham Lincoln assassinated. Okay? You in the street? Okay. No, she wants to make sure you're behind her.
Oh, I didn't know.
That division was her golden opportunity to crush one by the other and reign over the bloody ruins of both, a favorite long-standing policy. She hoped, this is Rome, she hoped that the hour of her supreme triumph over this continent was come. She ordered the Emperor of France to be ready with an army in Mexico, ready to support the South, and she bade all Roman Catholics, where were they at? What country? And who? And full of Catholics out there, right? Okay. Okay. All right. Roll them under the banners of slavery by joining themselves to what party?
Read that again.
You ever heard of the guy named Charles Chiniquy? I would tell you, get his book. It's called 50 Years in the Church of Rome. He was a priest of the Church of Rome. He was the one who was exonerated by Abe Lincoln. And he went and changed his religion to a Presbyterian. And oh, were they after him? And oh, did he cry tears when he saw what Abe Lincoln had done for him and saving his life from not going to prison. He cried and said, Abraham was like, why are you crying? You should be happy that you're exonerated. You don't have to go to prison. He says, I'm crying because of you. I'm crying for your life. I saw 11 Jesuits sitting down. They came to see me go to prison, but now their eyes are on me. From 1850, this man has had a death warrant on his life. Abraham Lincoln, because of what he did for Charles Chiniquy. And Charles Chiniquy wrote a book called 50 Years in the Church of Rome, and this was part of what he wrote. That division, splitting the North and the South, having the Civil War, was created by them, the Jesuits. And oh, it was such a slick thing that they did with this war, the Civil War, that they literally killed thousands of Protestants. Because the church is sitting where? In the South. That's why it's called the Bible Belt. Because most of your Protestant churches are where? In the South. Ooh, when I read that book, it blew my mind on the train. I said, boom! That's why the Civil War was there. That's why they did it, to kill Protestantism. They were after Protestantism, and guess what? When you realize that General Lee and Ulysses Grant, these two guys, they could have literally won the war on the first day. But the Jesuits were working both sides, the North and the South. Because what they wanted was bloodshed. And then when they got it, guess what they did? General Lee goes to Ulysses Grant and gives up. I'm done. War's over, 1865. And then guess what happened in 1865? Assassination of Abe Lincoln. He got who he wanted. Just like that. Oh my gosh, it sent chills on my spine after reading that book. Watch this, watch this, watch this. 1910, the Titanic was complete and set sail for 1912, right? The Titanic. Okay? Whoa. This unsinkable ship would serve as a death ship for those who was opposed to the Jesuit plan for a Federal Reserve System in America.
The best.
I wish you could stick around and hear some more history. No, there's more. There's about 2 more slides on this.
Well, I work with you, so I can do that.
Oh yeah? Okay. Okay, come on. If you just
a lot of people could have stayed on top of the thing and lived.
they could have died, they could have hit it head on and lived. It's where they hit it.
So you saying on board?
No, there were people. Listen to this. Hold on a second. The Federal Reserve Bank, they wanted to come in, the Rothschilds, the J.P. Morgans, that crew in 1910, the Titanic was being built. In 1910, the Rothschilds, J.P. Morgan, and who else was the other guy? Oh gosh, it's slipping my mind right now. Big banker people. Rockefellers, 3. All representative the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, and J.P. Morgan. All went to Jekyll Island in the island of Georgia. Right? Okay. Sat there and drew out their plans for the Federal Reserve Bank to come in here. The Rothschilds own and they hold the Vatican Bank. They take care of the Vatican Bank. The Rothschilds, who are Jewish, but they're Messiah Jews, who hold the entity rights to the Vatican Bank. They've been pushing for a central bank in America. The first try was in 1800 with Andrew Jackson, with Nicholas Biddle. And Andrew Jackson says, y'all need to get up out of here. And they try to kill Andrew Jackson. And Andrew Jackson is one of the guys, you can kill whoever you want. I'm telling you, you're gonna get out of here. That was his attitude, right? So they didn't come in. Then they try again. They have to try again now. So what they did was, they had their meeting in 1910. 1910, J.P. Morgan owned the rights to the Titanic. The system had told them that we want something that's going to attract all the richest people, because there were rich people on that boat that can be a voice to America to stop the central bank from coming in. That's what the boat was made for. Everything. So the Titanic, the ship was the unsinkable ship, was a death trap or death ship for those who opposed the Jesuits' plan for a Federal Reserve System, because the banking system wanted to come into America. But here's what happened. 1912, the Titanic sank. 1913, the federal system came to being in the United States. You got rid of the people. You got what you wanted. That's the order. That's the order. The people.
They planned it out.
That's what they do. If you do not, that's what that. I wish you. You know what? I'm gonna have you read the Jesuit oath at work on Monday, and then you see for yourself exactly what they are about. Okay. Good night. Thank you for coming. Joy, Monday morning. Okay. The people of Sarajevo now were predominantly Serbians, and this should have been under 1914. 1914, World War I begins. Whoa, wait. Watch this. The people of Sarajevo were predominantly what? Serbians. Their religious conviction was that of what? Orthodox Christians. Since the year 1054, what year did year 1000, right? That the Orthodox Church broke away, the first schism, right? They've been having a war since 1054 AD. The Catholic Church has been waging wars against the Orthodox Christians. Even to this day, all those Christians who died these past couple months, that they were beheading Christians, they were all Orthodox. The Catholic Church has not used their own power. They go to the power that they know they can get money to. ISIS is getting money. How is ISIS getting all what they want? Okay. Against Orthodox Christians. 8 months later, the Jesuits had sufficient funding through the Federal Reserve Bank to begin what? After they got from 1913. So they wanted to start that war from since 1910. They wanted to have something to start a war to go and kill who? Orthodox Christians. So they got the bank in, and they hit 1914. Boom, World War I. I mean, everything was in rapid succession. The Titanic sank in 12. 13, the bank came in. 14, the reserve. 14, World War I happened. Okay, the actual Jesuit finances of the Revolutionary War were where? In America. Where's the FRB? In the bank, literally. Oh, and after the World War I in 1918, guess what started? the League of Nations. After World War I, an attempt was made to set up a one world government, and the League of Nations was established. Senator Henry Cabot Lodge Sr. prevented the United States from joining the League of Nations. The Jesuits' plot to create a one world governing body from which they could control the world was stopped only temporarily. This happened in 1918. Do you think they're going to stop? What is their goal? To make the world come back to the Pope. 1929, by the appointment of Mussolini, the Pope was reinstated back to civil power in the Vatican. The papacy was reinstated back to a supremacy of religious and civil power. In 19 when? I forgot to put that down there. Stock market crash in what year? 1929. Depression started when? 1930. Oh, in order to destroy a nation, what do you have to do? Take away their financial power. And America came down to their knees. Oh, that's a place, because that's when everything happened. FDR now says we're going to start taxing the people more than everything else. And the Social Security system, which is the Jesuit main system, came in. Because the Social Security system's manned to what? It gives money to what? The Federal Reserve System. In order for that bank to get free money from the people, so we can fund what we want. And then, oh, by the way, when you had to print money that we make easily and free, we'll just charge you a tax you without want to. How is this image going to be formed? Right. How is the image going to be formed? Have it all. Oh, I know. President Franklin D. Roosevelt, what does he say? In politics, nothing happens by accident. If it happens, you can bet it was what? Planned that way. Donald Trump is the president of the United States. Do you think that happened by accident? Do you think that happened by the votes? No, that was planned.
The first time Trump name appeared, I was working at the bank, right over
Can't hear you.
in the operations center.
Uh-huh.
One of my coworkers said, "You guys want to believe who names on the ballot?"
Trump.
Trump.
Right. It could have been my name.
He wrote his name in.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Of course.
Testing for this government.
Right. From 2008, testing the waters back then. Watch this. 1939, World War II happens. The Pope was just as much in the Second World War as Hitler was, as was Hitler, and Catholic Mussolini, and therefore was as guilty of the murder of 6 million Jews. In fact, popes have been in or instigated most, if not all, the European wars down through the centuries. Okay? This is taken from F. Paul Peter's Tomb. That's his book. Watch this. Mussolini was called the Catholic love child. You know why? Because he reinstated Mr. Pope.
Because what?
He reinstated Mr. Pope. He reinstated the Pope back to the civil power.
Mm-hmm.
Well, wasn't he a fascist? But he was called a love child. Watch this now. The Catholic vote gave Hitler the majority he needed to legally form a government in 1933. Further to this, the Vatican ordered Catholic members of the Reichstag. Oh, wait a minute. What was called the Reich? The Third Reich? The Catholic members of Reichstag Parliament to support legislation giving Hitler the power to rule by decree. That's why it was called the Third Reich. It was his by decree, given by the Catholic. 1954, the Lyndon-Johnson Amendment passes. That provided in America for church to be separated from what? Politicians. Huh?
When Hitler turned dictator died.
Right. The dictator, right. Correct. Correct. Under the federal tax law, tax-exempt houses of worship are not allowed to intervene in partisan political campaigns. This is the Johnson Amendment. Ministers cannot obviously speak out on moral and spiritual issues of the day. They can do that. They can obviously speak. That's what they do when they preach. And can even get involved in ballot referenda related to various policies. But churches and other houses of worship cannot take steps to help or hurt candidates or political parties. By vote. By vote. That's what you call a ballot referendum. By vote, yes. But not by funding. Or once he gets rid of that, it's all dogs loose. We let the dogs out? Throw them. 1963, John F. Kennedy was assassinated. Bay of Pigs? Russia? Communism?
Got it, I got it.
Rome? They wanted Russia and they wanted Cuba because of communism. And oh, by the way, they can destroy America at the same time. We got 3 pieces of the pie. We killed 3 birds with 1 stone. But their boy, John F. Kennedy, wasn't having it. He wasn't having it. The biggest thing was Vietnam and the Federal Reserve Bank. Wait a minute. 1912, the ship sank. 1913, the Federal Reserve Bank comes into America. 1961, this guy now, a Catholic president, is telling me he wants to get rid of what we put in. He went and started printing out and making coins. He went back to the constitutional money. He went back to what the constitutional deems that he can do in making money for themselves. Get rid of the Federal Reserve. We don't need them to print nothing for us. We have gold. Take it from the gold. And guess what? The first thing he did? He coined himself on a 50 cents. Huh? A $50. President John F. Kennedy on a $50. He printed that. He made that. And guess what they want? They said, no, dog. You messed up now, brother. You want to get rid of the Federal Reserve Bank? And you're not going into Vietnam? We want Vietnam. Why they want Vietnam? Communism. Oh, we want Cuba. We want Russia. And we want Vietnam. But you don't want neither one of those 3? We're telling you to go and attack, and you're not going to do it. President Kennedy says, I'm not going into Vietnam. We're not going to have a fight with Russia. And we're not going to have a fight with Cuba. As a matter of fact, we're calling peace with Cuba right now. I'm calling Castro today. The day that he died, do you know, the day after he was supposed to go to Cuba and sign a peace agreement with Cuba, that day, the day after, he was on the phone with Cuba the day before he died and promised to come in and sign, because what Russia wanted to do was bring nuclear weapons down to Cuba. And they did they not? Because it is closer for Russia to fire from Cuba to America than to fire from Russia. And he saw that. And they had ships all set up and ready to go. This war was ready to happen, but God's divine hand was on top of America. Thank God for God.
Thank God for Jesus.
His hand was on top of America's soil.
Yeah, because this war almost ended everything.
Huh?
The war almost ended everything. The
He
whole
would have destroyed everything.
Yes.
Everything. America was ramped up.
They were so close. Russia was right at the door.
Right at the door. Cuba at the door. And all of a sudden, they're starting this thing with Vietnam. How in the world did Vietnam get into play anyway? Well, you see, they had a guy named Cardinal Spellman. Read the story on him. Cardinal Spellman. Ooh, They gave him power beyond power. Cardinal Spellman. Remember Cardinal Spellman, his allegiance is to the Pope. And he made sure that he went everywhere because they made him like the Secretary of State. And he was everywhere. And oh, did he incite all kinds of things. Cardinal Spellman was so smart, he gave Israel back their country in 1948. He put them right next to the Muslims. And so since then, this war has been going on. Because you know who wants Jerusalem? The Vatican. So in order for them to continue fighting, the Pope comes in and brings peace. I'll give you peace. I will sit in Jerusalem.
So much history, man.
As they look at American priests, as they look at America, the priests of Rome have stated, we are also determined to take possessions of the United States. But we must proceed with the utmost secrecy. Silence and patiently, we must mass our Roman Catholics in the great cities of the United States. Remembering that the vote of a poor journeyman, though he may be covered with rags, has such weight in the scale of the power of the millionaire Astor. And if we have 2 votes against his 1, he will become as powerless as an oyster. Let us then multiply our votes. Let us call our poor but faithful Irish Catholics from every corner of the world and gather them into the very hearts of the cities of Washington, New York, Boston, Chicago, Buffalo, Albany, Troy, and Cincinnati. Under the shadows of these great cities, pause, Larry, because we've got to explain what it is that they're reading for the readers. Ellis Island was not just an Ellis Island. People to the world out there on the internet, I'm going to put this out clear and plain today. The world right now, America right now, is having issues with this Syrian deportation of refugees, going into different countries and even coming into America. Well, back in the early 1900s, 1910 through 1927, there were tons of refugees that came in from where? Ireland, Europe. They all flooded American soil. Refugees, Catholic refugees. And they literally did exactly what they said they would do. Now, today, the reason why the Pope wants the borders open is because they are flooding the world with what? Refugees, to do their bidding. The same bidding that that even the Irish Catholics had done, even the European Catholics had done when they came into America. They came in as babies. It became 2 to 1, 2 Irish Catholics to 1 real American, 3 to 1, 4 to 1, 5 to 1. Eventually they became citizens and they can do what? Vote. And now they can vote. When they can vote, they put in power. They put those in power. Power. How is the image going to be formed? You got to know who's in control, who's creating the formation of this image. Remember that Nebuchadnezzar was the one who created the image. So in other words, Rome will do the same. Under the shadows of these great cities, the Americans consider themselves a giant, unconquerable race. They look upon the poor Irish Catholics with supreme contempt, as only if to dig their canals and sweep their streets and work in their kitchens. But let no one awake those sleeping lions today. Let us pray, God, that they will continue to sleep a few years longer, waking only to find their votes outnumbered, as we will turn them forever out of every position of honor, power, and profit. That's the reason why Trump was voted into the presidency. Look here, you have Trump, a Republican president. You have the Congress. All Congress seats are red. You got Senate, red. They have the House and they have the Senate. This is unprecedented. The next 2 years are going to be some crazy stuff. Because they did exactly what they wanted. They will find their votes outnumbered.
It's funny because one of my coworkers, we went out to dinner, one of our conference, listen, I'm sorry, and we were talking politics.
Talking politics.
And basically, I was like, he divided the party.
Right.
And he lives in Maine. He's like, Jesuits. No, they are united.
Right.
They are united.
Front.
And he
Okay.
He said, I've never seen anything like it.
You saw him go after the Republican Party.
Right.
You saw him, they looked like they were divided. But how? On November 8th, all of the seats of Congress is red. And all of Senate is red. 53 to 51. Red. How? And oh, wait a minute. All the people who had a fight with him while he was running for the primaries are all friends now?
Yeah. Yes.
Wait a minute.
Exactly.
Let me tell you something. This is unprecedented. They're doing exactly what they asked, what they said. What will those so-called giants, America, think when not a single senator or member of Congress will be chosen unless he has submitted to our Holy Father? This is coming from the Jesuits, the Catholic system. We will not only elect the president, but fill and command the armies, man the navies, and hold the keys of public treasury. Dude. Then we will rule the United States and lay them at their feet of the vicar of Jesus Christ, the Pope, that he may put an end to their godless system of education and impious laws of liberty of conscience, which are an insult to God and man. Charles Chiniquet, 50 Years in the Church of Rome. Got to read that book, page 281 and 282. That was killing me. That hit me right here. I sat in the train and I hit my book like this. I was like, oh my gosh, to the fact that 3 guys was like, yo, what are you reading? I said, man, you got to get this book. I cannot believe what I'm reading in this book. It is ridiculous. 50 years in the Church of Rome. And you can also get this in a book called The Secret Terrorists. No? I'll show you the book in a couple seconds. Okay. All right. Conclusion. In order for the United States to form an image to the beast, the religious power must so control the civil government that the authority of the state will also be employed to the church to accomplish her own ends. Whenever the church has obtained secular power, she has employed it to punish dissent from her doctrines. Protestant churches that have allowed the steps of Rome by forming an alliance with worldly powers have manifested a similar desire to restrict religious conscience. It was apostasy that led the early church to seek aid from the civil government. And this prepared the way for the development of the papacy. The beast, said Paul, there shall be a what? A falling away. And that man of sin then shall be what? Revealed. So apostasy in the church will prepare the way for the image of the beast. Romanism is now regarded by Protestants as a far greater favor than in former years. In those countries where Catholicism is not an ascendancy, and the papists are taking a conciliatory course in order to gain influence. There is an increasing indifference concerning the doctrines that separate the Reformed churches from the papal hierarchy. The opinion is gaining ground at all. After all, we do not differ so widely upon vital points as being supposed, and that little concession on our part will bring us to a better understanding with Rome. The time was when Protestants placed a high value upon the liberty of conscience, which had been so dearly purchased. They taught their children to avoid, to hate, to stay away from popery, and held that to seek harmony with Rome would be disloyalty to God. But how widely different are the sentiments now expressed today in our generation. I hope we have opened our eyes tonight to see that this image is about being now created. The image to the beast is forming. It's forming. It is in formation. It is being formed. I don't know how else to put this. Well, the adjectives I can use. It's being done. The wheels are turning. The wheels are spinning. It's churning right now. Jesus is coming soon. Even at the doors. We cannot play church no more. We can't do it no more. I advise everybody to get a book called Adventist Home. Start reading that. Let's get our houses in order. We got to get our houses in order. The cares of the world, the cares of this life, is taking over us. It's taking over us. It is taking over us. Some way, somehow, we got to let go of the cares of this life. I'm speaking to myself now. I'm talking about me myself. Everything I'm saying right now to everyone here, I am also taking heed. Because I got to get my house in order. I got to get Larry Nichols in order. Because to know what's coming down the pipeline and to be lost is a problem. I'd rather not know and be lost than to know and be lost. That's a problem. That's our problem. Our fault. It's our fault if we're lost. Knowing what we know and then to be lost, it's a problem. But we can clearly see what took place on November 8th was said. It was said. Their plans were there. What took place in November 8th, we will have the votes. We will outnumber them in votes.
It's unreal, man. Some stories that some of my co-workers described to me, that they never really saw in some of their communities. It just came to life out of nowhere.
Believe me.
It's like a sleeping lion, and it just
resurrected. The dragon is starting to speak. The lamb-like horns have been literally dismantled, and now the dragon is starting to speak. Either one had gone into presidency. Let it be Clinton or let it be Trump. It did not matter because the plan was set. They choose the presidency. And if they choose the presidency, people on the internet, if you're listening to me right now, it would have not been a woman. Because the Catholic Church does not have a woman leading anywhere. It does not have a woman leading out in any aspect of the church. So, Hillary would have never made it. She never had a chance. So here it is, the Protestant churches, the evangelical churches, and the Catholic Church stood behind Trump. Because in order for him to win, guess what he needed? What did Hitler have? No, I'm talking about the votes. What the Catholic votes?
But it's interesting, right? Because I remember we were sitting here at one point and he just wasn't getting, he kept going higher and higher, but we kept trying to, but I kept trying to figure out how.
Is he still in the race?
Yes.
Right, exactly.
How?
Exactly. How? And the momentum.
It didn't have this.
It came from
Nowhere. Watch this. Trump can say whatever he wanted to say because he was what they call the people's president. The people's voice, excuse me. Not the president, the people's voice. Okay? Why is he called the people's voice? Because you and I, sitting in this living room, have many times have said, if I were president, here's what I would do. Right? We've all said that at one point in our lives. So he took on the mantle and became our voice. Quote unquote, if I were president, here's what I would do. Okay? Hillary Clinton was stagnant. She could only get 40% in the polls. A lot of folks are saying the polls were really messed up. They had old data. Things wasn't really working in the polls. Polls were rigged. You know, they were really not going to the person who, you know, the person who lived in the country, who the pollsters, when they didn't call them, right? You had people who wanted to vote for Trump, but didn't want to let nobody know they were going to vote for Trump because they're scared of being ostracized. Okay? All that kind of stuff was all there. If it was really true voting and true polling, Hillary Clinton would have won. She won by the popular votes. Because the popular people of the world, wanted to see her become the president. But what they didn't understand was that electoral votes are the ones that count.
Right.
The elected officials are the ones who are really picking the president. If the elected officials are picking the president, then they already have chosen a president. Let's go ahead and bow our heads and close because I want to make sure I close out Bible study first. But anyone who wants to stick around to see some things, by all means can. But I want to let everybody have a chance to go because right now it's 10:49. I kind of went over because my friend Joy was here, and I know she had some questions, and I have to go back and explain some things. But I want to make sure that everybody has a chance to, relieve themselves. If you want to hang around, by all means, be my guest. I have no problem. I love to hang. Let's get in bow our heads and close our eyes. Father in heaven, I want to thank you again for the wonderful Bible study, Lord Jesus. So much stuff was taught tonight. So much stuff was given. Thank you for using the man servant, Lord Jesus. Thank you so much for providing the information. Lord, so much information. So much I could not even share. I share it, we still be here. So I want to be tempered. So Father God, I pray and I ask that you continue to use us. Use us in a marked and special way to spread your gospel. Time is at hand. When Christ came and preached in the synagogue, he started off by saying, the kingdom of God is at hand. That means it was present truth. Kingdom of God right now is at hand. You're soon to come. And I pray that all of our sins can be freed from our bodies, from ourselves. Release us from the sinful nature. Forgive us for those sins, Lord Jesus. Whatever sins we may have committed, even if we committed sins tonight, Lord Jesus, through our thoughts, our minds, our thoughts, with our words, our actions, our deeds, we ask for your forgiveness, Lord. That we will to stand before the Father guiltless, without a doubt in our mouth. Father God, we ask that you provide a safe trial and mercy to all those who will be going home. Pray for those who are online and pray for their families and their homes. We ask that you bless us and keep us and save us in your kingdom, we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
We're going to go ahead and close out our broadcast.